And that kind of goes off into two different questions I have for you. We'll start with this one. You talked about how you never thought that yelling makes someone a bad person. I agree. Do you think that over time, or we're now in this era where people might be a little sensitive, and has that caused a kind of a change in a lot of coaching styles in general?
I think it's not just coaching. I just think it's society. Everyone's become so politically correct, so unwilling to show and express how they feel and how they want things done, and that we've become a very bland society, a society that's not educating young people on the proper things: respect, value of life, discipline, punctuality, work ethic, all the things that you got to have to succeed. We've become a society that everything's very monotone, and it's just a percentage base. Let's teach people how to pass a test so we can create a percentage to show that we're educating. It's easy to teach somebody how to pass a test. It's hard to teach somebody how to respect life, how to value relationships, how to be a man or a lady of their word, how to be willing to express themselves. It's hard to educate people to feel comfortable in doing those things. Teaching people how to pass a test, I've done that. It's easy to do. I can teach anybody to pass a test, but getting people to be willing to embrace who they are and be willing to grow and help them and stay the course with them as you help them grow to become that human being, that's hard, that's complicated. And I'm about that. I'm not about teaching people how to pass a test.
And you were mentioning about getting the parents to trust you, or you're talking about your relationship with PJ. When you are doing the recruiting and you're in a home with someone like PJ or another recruit, what do you tell their parents when you're recruiting, and that you're kind of now will be taking care of their son and making him into a man pretty much? What do you tell the parents of a recruit?
Yeah, the one thing I never want a young person or a parent to ever say is that Frank cheated me or Frank cheated my child. I can't live with myself. If my career record is a 95% winning percentage or whatever you want to call that, but I'm not helping those young people become men. I'm not helping them become better members of our society, where they can go back and turn around and be prepared to accept the responsibilities of men, which is not get a job, understand how to keep a job. Go back and be prepared to be loyal, honest, worker, accept the responsibilities of being a husband, God willing, the responsibility of fatherhood. It's my job to teach them to do all those things, and those are the things that we speak about with the parents in the home. Those are the values that are important to me. Winning and losing games, that comes and goes. Who cares? Yes, I understand that my job title says coach, and that there's a big scoreboard up there that keeps score. Nobody wants to win the next game on the schedule more than me. I'm willing to put that against anybody. But when that game's over, the responsibility, the reasons for which I recruited that young person, my commitment to that mom, that dad, that I will continue to work every single day to make that young person move forward in life. So when they're done with our experience, they're as prepared as they can to become a man and to be the best basketball player that they can be. Therefore, it's a genuine relationship that will last a lifetime.
Now, you're coaching not only coaches, the Gamecocks, it's the entire fan base. I remember after a game, you were talking about how there's the guys in the ugly sweaters. You went over to the fraternity and then another sorority house just to say thank you. Why is that so important to you to have a great relationship with the fans, and how did that start, and why, and how do you balance it?
I was a fan, and I'm still a fan. And I understand as a fan, when you invest your emotions into a team, how you hurt. And but that's what makes it fun to be a fan. It's not just celebrating, is that you share all the emotions that the team goes through. If you can't do that as a fan, then you're not really a fan. And I want our fans to be invested with us. I want them to go home upset. I want them to go home happy. I want them to go home and be proud of our guys regardless of the outcome of the game. But if it wasn't for fans, we'd be playing in a rec center, pickup basketball against local rec center teams. Fans are what make the game. The game, we play it for the kids play it for the love. They play for the competition part of it, but the games become so big because of fans. Because just fans, it's a beautiful game. The proximity to players, you're on the court with the players. They're not hiding their faces. You can see their smiles, you can see their tears. You can see their names, and you can see the school on every play up close and personal. And I think that connection makes it so much fun in basketball, that it makes it, you create home court advantages. But to me, it's all about the fans. And working at a university, part of my responsibility is make sure those students, 20 years from now, think back about how much fun it was to be a student at the University of South Carolina.
Absolutely. And speaking of players and fans, there was a time where you had to issue apology to players and fans. How important is that to do as the leader? And is that something that you think really gained respect? And that's part of why you have such a special relationship with the fans and the players?
I'm like I was talking about before. You have to take ownership. You have to be disciplined. You got to have a work ethic. You have to respect life. You have to understand the different things that you have to go through to accept the responsibilities of becoming a man. And I'm only referring to man because I coach males. But whether I yell or I speak in private moments, one thing is to be passionate, one thing is to be demeaning. And in that moment, I was demeaning, and there's no place for that. I wouldn't want anyone to demean my child. I don't mind coaches yelling at my children. I just don't want them to demean them. And in that moment, I was wrong. And I can't ask players to take ownership of our team, to take ownership of the responsibilities that we're passing on to them. And then when I mess up, act like I'm the mistake-free human being in the world. We're all human beings. None of us are perfect. Not me, not the next person will ever go through life without making mistakes. The most important part is how we handle those moments. Are we genuine or are we phony? Are we move forward or we move backwards? And I try to teach our guys all the time I say this to our players all the time. I said, don't lie to me. I don't care what big a mistake you make. I don't care. It's part of life. I was 18, 19. You can combine all their mistakes and they don't come near how many mistakes I made when I was their age, or continue to make today's day and age. But be a man about it. When you make a mistake, be honest. Communicate with me so I can help you through that moment. Because when you become a man, it's not about avoiding mistakes. It's about how you manage mistakes, how you move away from mistakes, how you teach everyone around you that mistakes are part of life. We're not trying to make more mistakes. We're trying to minimize mistakes. But when they happen, we have to make sure we deal with it the right way. And I try my best to do that consistently, whether it's publicly or privately.
Last question for you. You seem like the type that would want to pay it forward. If there's a young coach out there that you are mentoring, or even if a young coach is watching this, what is your best advice to a young coach that's just starting their career in coaching basketball?
Believe in yourself. Don't ever worry about what you don't have. Embrace what you do have and make the best of it. Take tremendous pride in it. And then just act like a sponge. Find every possible resource that you can get to help you become better. Because this is the one thing I've learned in all my 30 years in education. I've never come across a coach or a teacher that gets out of bed and says, I can't wait to get to school or practice or whatever today to make Johnny worse. Every single coach, every single teacher I've been around loses sleep at night, not because they don't want to educate, because they're frustrated on how to figure out a way to educate that one person that they can't reach. And as a young coach, don't ever allow that to push you away. On the contrary, look for more resources, more ways to find more patience, to make sure that you can touch everybody, because you never know, you might be the only person that young person has left that gives them an opportunity to move forward in life. So you got to be prepared to accept all those responsibilities, but just believe in yourself and worry about what you have and not what you don't have.